Okay, so here we are live once again, and today I have to open for you Turtles of Grayskull Shredder, Evil Master of Ninjutsu. Now, I haven't gotten any of these Turtles of Grayskull figures so far. They're, as the name might suggest, it's a mashup between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Masters of the Universe. So, but honestly, like, I don't know, like, I'm sure, like, a lot of people out there looking at this line and enjoying it, and I'm glad you are. But for me, just honestly, like it's just kind of a weird line. It's neither fish nor fowl kind of thing, and I'm just looking at them and like the turtles characters just look too Masters of the Universe, and the Masters of the Universe characters just look too Ninja Turtle. I don't know. It's a weird thing for me. So, like I said, though, it's like I'm sure it's somebody's cup of tea, and I'm glad it exists for you. I'm glad it's out there. But for me, like I don't know, I like both of these things, but I don't know if necessarily I like the way that they're mashed up. I think I would probably have more fun, like just having the regular Ninja Turtles displayed next to the regular Masters of the Universe figures, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. So I don't know. But this guy, I saw him on the shelf and I thought he looked really cool. So I guess the aesthetic of the Shredder blends in better with the Masters of the Universe aesthetic than most of the other characters. But you can see here on the back is that Splinter looks like he's mashed up with King Grayskull, and like Trapjaw was mashed up with a Mauser, and He-Man and Ram-Man apparently got turned into evil mutants, and Beast-Man is disguised as a samurai, and it says undercover henchman, and you see the other two characters on here are Raphael and the Shredder himself, and it says fit ninja horde weapons into his hands, and the description on the back says all Shredder wanted to do was eliminate the turtles once and for all. Unfortunately, Krang's plan to harness the most powerful force in the universe backfired and flung them to the planet Eternia, where Shredder encounters an interesting new ally. Gee, I wonder who that could be. I have no idea. I mean, it does show, Skeletor on the back of the package here. Skeletor, who just looks like the regular Skeletor. He's not mashed up with, he's not turned into a mutant or anything like that. But you notice that one of the accessories the Shredder comes with is a Horde crossbow, and it says fit Ninja Horde weapons into his hands. So maybe it's Hordak? I don't know. It looks like there's a comic book inside. So I guess we can figure that out. So let's go ahead and open it up. I will point out that the packaging is kind of interesting because it has the exploding rocks on there, the red meteorites that we think of. Only this time they're purple meteorites with like green energy coming out of it. So there you get a better look at that. So again, kind of mashing up the what we expect from the look of a Ninja Turtle with the look of Masters of the Universe. We got a little instruction booklet like we often see with these Origins figures to show us how all the parts swap around and everything like that. Removable parts, head, arms, and lower leg. Lower legs? Oh, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get him out of here. There's the figure out of the package. And he's got two accessories. Like I pointed out before, there's the Horde crossbow. And it does look to me like it's just the regular Horde crossbow, this time in a gunmetal gray sort of color. And then got this nasty looking axe, which the blade of the axe has like little shredder blades on it. It's like, I heard you like blades, dog, so we put blades on your blade. And you can see it's got that newer Foot Clan type of emblem where it's like a claw. They're not the Claw Clan, they're the Foot Clan. So, like, I kind of prefer the emblem that actually looks like a foot. That's just me. I think that came from, like, the newer comics, maybe some of the newer cartoons. I don't know. That seems to me like a post-Nickelodeon sort of thing. After Nickelodeon bought out the Ninja Turtles. Maybe it's from like those, was it IDW did that series? The one I was talking about the other day where, like, you know, now the turtles are supposed to be reincarnations of, like, the original Hamato Yoshi or something like that. And like I said, I never read any of those comics, so I'm not like an expert on them. But there was rubber bands, rubber tabs at his wrists, and I cut those, and apparently there are more rubber tabs at his ankles. Oh, jeez. Rubber tabs all over the place. Hopefully that's all of them. I don't think there's one around his waist. I already cut you. Why are you still on there? Oh, jeez. I just set my X-Acto knife down. There it is. Okay, there we go. And then his cape was stuck through the hole in the back there. And that is an impressive looking Shredder figure. Nice and bulky because he's on a Masters of the Universe body. And he's got removable armor in the Masters of the Universe style. So I'm going to try to arrange that in such a way where it's I think placed a little better, because it was the forearm armor is a little high up on the forearms, at least for my liking. And you can kind of move it around since it's removable. And it does have the parts that are supposed to go over his hands, so you can kind of pull those over his hands if you want to. But the nice thing about it is, since it is removable, you can turn it around the forearm of the figure and get it to match up as best as possible. So it looks like the shin armor kind of clips on, and we can see that he is reusing Hordak's boots. So he does have like evil Horde emblems on his boots. So is he teaming up with Skeletor, or is he teaming up with Hordak? Or are they all three teaming up together? Okay. But you can see that his chest armor is definitely made more in the style of Skeletor. It almost looks identical to Skeletor's armor. It's shaped a little bit differently, and it doesn't have the crossbones with the gem in the middle like Skeletor's armor has. Instead, it's got that Foot Clan claw at the front. And we can see that the Shredder, his helmet is completely shaded on the inside, and his eyes are glowing red through there. So this is obviously a Shredder that has been, like I said, somewhat redesigned to fit in with the Masters of the Universe aesthetic, but I think it works a little bit better on him than it does most of the other figures. So he's got these kind of bluish gray pants with the standard Masters of the Universe loincloth on there. He's wearing no shirt, which I'm guessing is an homage to the original Shredder action figure, where he had no shirt. He just had a purple cape that was kind of, cinched around his waist with a belt. This guy has a blue cape. It's plastic, but it's got some fabric texture to it, and it looks like it opens up in the back, so you can remove it. But I'm not going to bother to do that right now. And it does seem like it fits tightly enough that I don't know if the weapon would fit, like, for storage, especially since it's got this big pommel on the back. So he's got this huge axe, like I pointed out before, and Shredder has two hands. He got a gripping hand and an open hand in the Masters of the Universe tradition. And the axe handle is just long enough that, despite how muscle-bound the figure is, you can kind of get it into like a two-handed position. Although he's not really gripping it with the other hand, and he's almost kind of barely gripping it with the gripping hand. But you can kind of pose him like he's holding it in two hands. But I don't know if it's necessarily made to do that. So, but yeah, he's got a big battle axe, which does make sense since he is a Masters of the Universe version of Shredder. Lots of different armor pieces that seem like they're staying on pretty well on the shoulders and the forearms, so that's good. And then, like I said, these ones on the shins are somewhat removable. So let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So Shredder can look up about that far, look down about that far. He can tilt his head from side to side, kind of quizzically. move his head around any which way you want to. It's on a really good ball joint there. It almost looked to me like this would be a removable helmet, and that he would have another head underneath, like an unmasked Orokusaki head, but he does not. The arms do rotate all the way around at the shoulder. They move up about that far, which I think is about as far as Master of the Universe Origins figures move up anyway. The shoulder armor doesn't really hinder it too much. He does come apart in the middle, and the arms should pull out. So he should just come all apart. He's not quite coming out all the way, but so you can mix and match parts with other figures. Like if you want to have him wearing a shirt, maybe get somebody with like a black torso, and you can swap it out. So that's nice. The elbows bend about that far. He's kind of muscle bound, so they're only going to bend so far. And of course, they rotate at the elbows as well. Wrists rotate all the way around, although they do kind of bump into the hand guard if you've got it pulled all the way down there, and move back and forth. He does turn around all the way at the waist. This is a Masters of the Universe Origins figure, not a vintage Motu figure, so he does not have the spring-loaded punching, which would be nice, but he doesn't have it. Kicks up about that far, bends at the knee about that far, and the knee rotates all the way around, and then the ankles point down about that far, point up about that far, and they are on a rocker ankle, so they do move around somewhat. Now, since I happen to still have this Raphael figure out, the NECA Raphael, I'd say that they scale pretty decently with the NECA comic style figures. He is a little short, I think, but he's still taller than the Turtles, so that's good. And let's go ahead and just for fun, I've got over here some of the vintage Ninja Turtle action figures and a couple of other ones. So here is Donatello, which my Donatello has a bootleg bow staff, but you can see how much bigger he is than Donatello. So I think that these do actually scale really well with the vintage Playmates figures. So that looks pretty cool, I think. And since I happen to have Casey Jones, let's look at him next to Casey Jones. He towers over Casey Jones. Since Casey Jones is about the size of a turtle anyway. And here is Movie Star Raphael, but this is my bootleg version of Movie Star Raphael. So there he is next to the Movie Star Turtles. And what else do I have in here? Oh, hey, look at that. I have from the old Nickelodeon series. There's Leonardo. That's Jason Biggs as Leonardo from American Pie. So you can see he's taller than those figures too. So that's good. Like I said, I like for the turtles to be short. So that scales pretty well, I think. And do I have anything else interesting in here to compare him to? Oh, here we go. This will work pretty well. Oh, knocked the axe out of his hand, knocked it into my bin of Ninja Turtles figures, so that's funny. And there is Super Shredder. Yeah, from the vintage line. And you can see that this Shredder is a lot more super than Super Shredder. Maybe he did get some of that powers of Grayskull after all, because he's massive compared to that. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure that the Ninja Turtles figures that are actually in this line, they would be, comparable size to Masters of the Universe, and that's fine. But honestly, here's a trenchcoat Donatello, so we can see him next to the Donatello. I got like a whole bunch of Donatellos that I'm getting, but there's only one in this bin that is actually one that I've had since I was a kid that I managed to hold on to all these years. And if you know me at all, you won't be surprised as to which one it is. Find a pin here. Because I got so much in here. I got some of the newer movie figures, which the ones for part 2 I thought were better, so I did manage to buy those. Mainly I got those because I wanted Bebop and Rocksteady, and I got them in big sets. Oh, there's the other side for Movie Star Raphael, so we can go ahead and put that back together. It is in here, isn't it? There's a foot. Somebody lost his foot. That's from one of those Playmates. I don't know what they call them, the classics type figures in here. I don't see it in here, and I know I still have it. You just stuck underneath something where I can't see them, or maybe I took them out and used them for something else for a little bit. I've got my original Raphael, and he's still got both of his sai. And he's the only one from my childhood collection that I still have. All these other ones that I have from the vintage line are just kind of ones that I got in lots and things like that. Well, I don't know where he is. I guess he's not in here. Hopefully he's not lost to the ages. Hopefully he just got mixed up into another box accidentally somehow. But I do still have my vintage Raphael. Or at least I did last time I checked. Pray to the action figure gods that I still have my vintage Raphael somewhere. Since that's the only one I had left from when I was a kid. Anyway, I am a little disappointed I can't show that to you right now. So, actually, I think that Donatello might be my old Donatello. Don't ask me why I only have Raphael and Donatello. I have no idea. I don't know what would have happened to the other ones. Now, this did come with a comic book, so we can have a look at that. And it's got like a big group shot of a bunch of characters on here. And here we see a more samurai-looking version of Skeletor. So I guess he's upcoming. He just hasn't come out yet. Which is probably why he's not on the artwork. And it says, Belly of the Beast Man. And this seems to be like a pretty lengthy comic book compared to the other ones that we had that are pretty short. So I don't know if I want to read this whole thing because it's pretty long. I don't know if I want to read it in the video anyway, but I'll probably read it later. Because I would be curious about how all these characters fit together. Volume 3, The Power of Grayskull. That's the next one. So I guess that these are different, that they have different issues. This is the second assortment of these, so it makes sense that like it would be like the second issue. But I haven't gotten any of the other figures yet, so I don't know how it goes. Anyway, Shredder is really cool, and I think he would play really well with the vintage Ninja Turtle figures if you've got those. And I think he'd play pretty well with these NECA Ninja Turtle figures if you've got those. So if only I hadn't left the movie Shredder across the room, I could have showed him off and we could have seen him. But I'm not gonna go all the way over there and get him now. I've been talking about this thing for 20 minutes already. But it's pretty cool. I'm glad I picked him up. Like, even if you're not collecting the Turtles of Grayskull line, and like I said, I haven't been collecting the Turtles of Grayskull line, I honestly feel like this is just a cool enough Shredder figure just to buy him on his own. Like, really, if he didn't have the furry trunks and the Hordak feet, he could just be like a regular version of the Shredder. Even though his armor is kind of like Skeletor's armor, it's not like that much like Skeletor's armor. But you could take all these parts and swap them on to like more basic parts, and maybe like an Undertaker. If you've got like Undertaker figures that you got for cheap like me, you could probably just swap all these parts onto an Undertaker figure and it would be close enough to a more classic version of the Shredder, if you will. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with him. So glad to have him as part of my collection. He'll go fine in my display of Ninja Turtles once I get that set up one of these days. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure and the character of the Shredder in general. I always thought Shredder was really cool. I was kind of disappointed that he got killed off in the first issue of the comic because he just seemed like a character with a lot of potential. Apparently, the people making the toys and the cartoons thought the same thing, since they made him like the main villain of the cartoon series and the main villain of the toy line, and wound up being the main villain in the first two movies. And You know, the Shredder's just really freaking cool. I don't care. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.